Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. I would particularly like to welcome the MetroHealth employees who are watching this on our live stream. I'm Elizabeth Allen, Senior Vice President of External Affairs. Today we are going to report the results of an external investigation conducted by the Forensic Investigation Services team of KPMG, the global tax audit and advisory firm. This investigation was conducted at the request of the Board of Trustees after a civil lawsuit was filed against MetroHealth. At the conclusion of this press conference, we will be releasing the following documents: the full 29-page KPMG report, along with our answer to the civil lawsuit. Those documents will also be posted on our website. In addition, we will release Dr. Boutros' contract and amendments to that contract, as well as other details. And finally, we will release a detailed and comprehensive accounting of all of the expenses paid to and on behalf of Dr. Boutros from May 1, 2013 to December 4, 2015. In addition to the individual transactions, the expenses are presented by category, by purpose, and by vendor. Before we begin, I'd like to set some ground rules. We have 3 speakers, so please hold your questions until all 3 have finished with their remarks. We are live streaming and recording this press conference for our employees, so I'm going to facilitate the question and answer session. Please identify yourself and your organization and speak clearly so your questions can be heard. And now I'd like to introduce the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the MetroHealth System, Tom McDonald. Mr. McDonald has been on the board since 2008 and has served as chair since 2013. Mr. McDonald also is the President and Chief Executive of McDonald Partners, a registered investment advisor and broker-dealer. Tom?
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'd like to begin by letting you know that KPMG found no support for the 3 specific allegations in the lawsuit. None. There is no truth to all of these allegations. Number 1, KPMG's investigation found no evidence that MetroHealth reimbursed or paid for personal travel expenses. We have reviewed the report and are confident this completely exonerates our CEO, Dr. Boutros. The allegations that the MetroHealth system paid for his personal travel are simply not true. Number 2, there is absolutely no evidence of theft of property or services related to Botox or other treatments. And number 3, the individual who filed this lawsuit was not disciplined or retaliated against for reporting allegations of wrongdoing to the Board of Trustees or anyone else at Metro. I can assure you that Metro holds its executives, all staff, and business partners to the highest ethical standards. We have stringent policies in place and hold mandatory training sessions to make sure that everyone who works for MetroHealth understands its policies. These policies are reviewed with every new employee, and as part of the interview process, every employee takes a values assessment to make sure they fit with our culture of accountability and openness. MetroHealth strongly encourages employees to report any concerns about illegal or unethical behavior or any behavior that potentially violates our high standards of conduct or the law. We give employees many ways to do this. After these allegations were brought to light, Dr. Boutros asked the Board of Trustees to conduct a full external investigation. The board hired KPMG's Forensic Investigation Services team to perform an external interview. In the spirit of full disclosure, I will tell you that another division of KPMG performs routine internal audit work for MetroHealth. They reported directly to the board, and I want to thank them for conducting an objective and thorough investigation. The CEO and his leadership team cooperated fully with the investigation. Finally, I will share with you that the employee who filed the lawsuit has been terminated. We don't comment publicly on individual personnel matters, and so we will not explain why he was terminated other than to say it had nothing to do with the filing of this lawsuit. Let me repeat that. It had nothing to do with the filing of this lawsuit. Elizabeth, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Tom. Now I'd like to introduce J.B. Silvers. Dr. Silvers is Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees and Chair of the Audit Committee. He served on the board since 2011. Dr. Silvers is also a professor of banking and finance at Case Western Reserve University. In addition to his professorship at the Weatherhead School of Management, he holds a joint appointment in the School of Medicine. Dr. Silvers?
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Since the internal auditor reports directly to the audit committee, which I chair, I want to review the content of the report in greater detail. Before I do that, however, I would like to thank KPMG for its thorough investigation and for promptly reporting back to the board. As you heard, KPMG's investigation found no evidence that MetroHealth reimbursed or paid for personal travel expenses. We have reviewed the report and are confident that this completely exonerates our CEO. Dr. Boutros and his entire leadership team have behaved appropriately as responsible, trustworthy stewards of this important community asset. I also want everyone here to understand that this individual did not act as a whistleblower regarding any of the allegations in the lawsuit. In order to be a whistleblower, you have to blow the whistle. He did not. The report affirms that there is no evidence that he presented these allegations to any responsible officer of MetroHealth. He could have reported them to me or to anyone on the audit committee. He did not. We have investigated also and found no evidence that he made any oral or written report. That simply didn't happen. In fact, as the chair of the audit committee, I was personally quite surprised by these allegations when the lawsuit was filed. Since the lawsuit says that he raised these allegations previously with my committee, he did not. As Mr. McDonald said, MetroHealth has procedures in place to report any concerns of this nature. You'll see in the KPMG report when you read it that this individual did not raise any concerns related to the allegations included in the lawsuit or allege any theft, fraud, or criminal acts. On no occasion did he report concerns about the CEO's travel expenses or concerns about illegal Botox treatments. In fact, in all of our reports he has submitted to our committee, he has never raised concerns about potentially unlawful or unethical behavior. The audit committee had previously asked him to review expense reports in general and the use of credit cards, including those of Dr. Boutros. His reports to the committee, both of which occurred in the last 9 months, indicated that no inappropriate charges were found in his review. He was asked by management to audit the inventory controls for Botox and other products at a MetroHealth facility. He personally signed off on a report that did not include any findings related to theft, fraud, or criminal acts. I consider it a personal affront that after all those opportunities to raise concerns, he made public accusations that he knows were not true. I understand that he's being portrayed as a whistleblower, but I reiterate that his reports to the audit committee of the Board of Trustees did not raise these concerns. I also want to make it clear that any time allegations are raised, MetroHealth conducts a full investigation. That's been the standard procedure at MetroHealth with any allegations. In fact, it's been my experience that the compliance officers and other on the leadership team, take all claims very seriously and go above and beyond what is actually required by the law. I also want to address the allegations related to our counsel, General Counsel Mike Phillips. There is no basis for the allegations that Mr. Phillips routinely approved payment of invoices to his own law firm. The KPMG team did a thorough review of MetroHealth's procedures in approving the invoices from CalFee. Their report reflects that Mr. Phillips did not routinely approve CalFee invoices. To the contrary, he's taken a conservative approach to not approve any such invoices. The one instance was a mistake, and it was caught before and remedied before payment was made. There was no payment. In short, as our chairman said, the allegations in the lawsuit are false. Dr. Boutros and his leadership team have acted appropriately and ethically. Thank you, Elizabeth. Turn it back to you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Silvers. Now, I'd like to introduce a man who needs no introduction, Dr. Akram Boutros, President and CEO of the MetroHealth System. Dr. Boutros.
Thank you all very much for being here today. As you've heard, the thorough external investigation we are releasing today found no wrongdoing, not by MetroHealth and not by me. We have been exonerated as I knew we would. But I have a more significant message today. As President and CEO of this health system, there's nothing more important to me than caring for our patients, our community, and you. To those of you gathered here, to my MetroHealth family, and every member of this community, I pledge to preserve that as my number one priority. But right behind that is protecting the reputation of this institution, this essential service that contributes so much financially, socially, and emotionally to the success of Cuyahoga County. I will never allow the work performed by our 6,800 employees, their commitment to caring for everyone in this community, the love for their work, and the people who they care for to be questioned, diminished, or destroyed by false accusations. Those of you who have had your cancer cured, your broken body mended, your sick child saved, you know the health preserved and restored by our nurses, doctors, and other caregivers is too important to be derailed in this way. To attack MetroHealth is to attack all the good and decent things we do for Cuyahoga County and its residents. And I will never tolerate that. To those employees who are watching now, I say thank you for the work you do, the love you share, and the great good you are doing for the people of Northeast Ohio. My gratitude is endless. I also want you to know that I'm just as adamant about protecting the taxpayer money that supports this hospital. The money that comes to MetroHealth from the Cuyahoga County Health and Human Services levy makes up 4% of our operating budget. And every dollar of it, every dollar goes to caring for our patients. It does not pay for executive salaries or utility bills. It does not buy computer desks or pens. It pays for care and nothing else. There is one last point I want to make. It's a point I can never emphasize enough. The employee who brought this suit against us was not terminated because he raised concerns. While I can't go into details about his dismissal, I can say this. I want every employee, those of you watching now, and those of you who are hard at work, to know if you think something's wrong, you must report it. It's the right thing to do for the hospital, for our patients, and for this community. You all know from you reviewing the MetroHealth Code of Ethical Behavior and your mandatory training that there are many ways to report concerns. You can talk to your supervisor. You can contact the finance department, human resources, the legal department, or compliance department. You can call the MetroHealth Confidential 24-hour reporting line. And as always, you can come to me. You won't be punished or suspended or fired. You will be honored for doing the right and noble thing for MetroHealth, for our patients, and this community, which is, of course, is why we're all here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Boutros. And now we'll take a few questions. Please speak clearly and identify yourself and the organization you represent. I'd also like to remind you that we are live streaming and recording this for our employees. So again, please speak loudly and clearly when I call on you. If I got a first question here. Yes, ma'am.
Danny Carlson, Cleveland 19. If the allegations are unfounded, unproven, why was it important for the hospital to hold a press conference today to publicly address them?
Dr. Boutros, would you like to answer that?
Sure. This is really about the MetroHealth reputation. We are an incredibly vital part of this community. What we do for our patients and for those least among us is critically important. These allegations, completely false allegations, diminish the work that is provided by 6,800 hardworking, caring individuals. That is something I will not permit to happen. So for us, you're receiving both the answer to the lawsuit, and you're hearing from us firsthand the external report that exonerates MetroHealth and all its executives.
Okay, yes, ma'am, in the back?
Yes, Maria Scully with Fox 8 News. So this stain, that was brought upon MetroHealth, what was the reasoning behind it? Can you share that? And then a follow-up question, what's the status of the lawsuit?
We will not speculate on why this lawsuit was filed. You'll have to ask the person who filed the lawsuit. And Dr. Boutros, would you like to talk about the status of the lawsuit?
We just submitted our responses to the complaint. I think you will be leaving with a copy of it. Why don't I stay up here if anybody has any other questions?
Any other questions? Sarah Jane, right,
Sarah
yes.
Jane Tribble with WCP and WVIZ. This isn't directly related to the lawsuit, but I've heard you say it several times in press conferences. You said that the 4% is 4% of your budget. It's part of the operating budget. How can you guarantee that that money's not going to pay for salaries or other things and it's just going to patient care?
Yeah, so Sarah Jane, just to be exact, I said the 4% does not go for executive salaries. So it goes to direct patient care. So it goes to doctor salaries, it goes to nurses' salaries and the like. To be completely clear and transparent, as of January 1st, 2016, every dollar that comes in from the taxpayers from Cuyahoga County is now being deposited in a completely separate bank account. The only charges that are going to go against that account are direct patient care. So you will see, we will have a patient's name, the services that were provided, the non-payment and underpayment that was provided for the care of that patient.
And then just a follow-up question. My court knowledge isn't, maybe that of a court reporter, but are you filing to have the court filing dismissed, the case dismissed? Is that what you're filing this for?
No, what they've asked for certain responses to the complaint, and we're responding that today. What further actions we take will be decided by legal counsel. Let me just remind you that we received $40 million. We received $40 million in 2015. We provided $188 million of direct community benefit. $120 million was for direct patient care. MetroHealth receives another $900 million from services we provide aside from the taxpayer dollars.
And quick follow-up to that, why did MetroHealth, Danny Carlson, Cleveland 19, why did MetroHealth file for an extension to respond to the allegations in the civil suit?
Frankly, just to make sure that we have all the answers as complete as possible. I think it's a 1-day extension.
Yes, ma'am.
Lydia Kutrey, Queens Cleveland Business. Is there a timeline going forward that you know of when the next step will be in the lawsuit, or is this kind of a lead in at this point?
Lydia, these things can take a very long time. It's up to the complainant and his counsel to decide what they're going to do next.
Can we go with you first, please?
Megan Hickey, Channel 5. Just to reiterate, none of the allegations in that 33-page complaint, they were never detailed in any of the reports to the board. Absolutely none of them.
Yeah,
None.
So Megan,
That's the first time you saw it.
Yes.
Megan, we will also be on our website today. You have had access for it as we do it every month. We have the audit reports, audit committee minutes and audit reports on our website. You can go yourself and find out that none of these allegations have ever been brought to light. You will also find that credit card review have been conducted by internal audit, and the internal auditor signed off that there were no complaints. There were no issues. That was his report, and also with expenses, separate occasions, looking at the entire organization's expenses and credit cards.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, again.
Danny Carlson, Cleveland 19. Whenever there's a story like this one, we always hear from viewers, from commenters saying, well, I'm sure that the audit that you guys hired a firm to do came up clean. I'm sure that your files don't show this alleged wrongdoing, but maybe there are other files that we're not seeing. I mean, what would you say to those people who are going to be bound to be out there?
So when the Board of Trustees decided to hire an external, conduct an external investigation, they decided to hire the forensic investigative team of a company. This is not the people who normally do audits. These are the people who have unfettered access to the organization, who can look at anywhere, examine anything. These are the same people who are used when there's some significant wrongdoing in a company. They have looked at these things and have found no evidence to lead them to believe that these allegations are true for anyone. Sure.
Just to let you know, JB and I met with the auditors 3 times. The management team were interviewed by them, but they did not get progress reports. We got progress reports. They had access to every file that they wanted. No one stood in their way to get any information beyond what was mentioned in the allegations, but they had to pay attention to the allegations because that's what we were being accused of. But they had access to anything they needed. They were very, very thorough, down to, I remember one that came to light was a $29 charge. They wanted to know where the receipt was for that. So it was a very thorough review and very inclusive.
Let me just add, in case you're not familiar, KPMG is that's the gold standard. So the board specifically went to the gold standard for this kind of a study, and these are lawyers, not lawyers and accountants. They have all the background. The board is very comfortable with this. This is not, there's no whitewash here at all, in any respect whatsoever.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Sarah Nord from Cleveland.com. Has any other employee raised allegations of free Botox or concerns about Dr. Boutros' travel expenses? And Dr. Boutros, do you feel that you have been prudent with your travel expenses?
Dr. Boutros, come on up.
Let me answer the last question first. Yes, you will have the details, 325 transactions from the day I was announced. These transactions predate my actual being paid by MetroHealth because I volunteered for a month before I came to work, came here. There is no one who has ever, in the 2.5 years I have been here, raised any wrongdoing regarding employee expenses. The Botox issue, and I'll just call it that because it's the wrong substance that's being discussed, came as a complaint to our compliance office. We're the ones who ask compliance, management's the one who asked compliance to conduct the investigation. They conducted the investigation. They found that the substance provided was provided free by the pharmaceutical company to MetroHealth, and we are not permitted to charge for anything that we receive free from a pharmaceutical company. We then, compliance asked the internal auditor to do an inventory management analysis, and that report shows that there has been no inventory issues, theft, or otherwise of the medication.
Just to follow up, so you're saying that a pharmaceutical company provided free medication or whatever it was, and did employees use this medication, or who?
Yeah, sure. So we're a teaching hospital. Any residency program in plastic surgery, ubiquitous throughout the nation, receives free medications from the pharmaceutical companies. This is so that for training the residents, they can learn how to provide these injections. The residents themselves select their patients. You can understand that they have to feel comfortable, and the patient has to feel comfortable that they're receiving these services from a resident. Once the resident the patient agrees, then they are told that we are using free medication, you will not be charged for that service. And that is open to lots of people, not just employees. There are employees, non-employees, and family members of employees.
Okay, did we have, there's not a question about it. Sarah Jane,
I just
again.
want to kind of connect the dots here, because MetroHealth has been under fire in the past for the way it is spending its money. It's been under investigation by the county in the past for that. Is that the reason that you guys have decided to put on the press conference today and to kind of duke this out in the court of public media as opposed to just filing the suit and let it go through the legal process?
So, Sarah Jane, I would say to you is that since the day I have arrived, we have been extremely transparent. This is, again, another way for us to be transparent. We're not duking it out with anybody. We believe we owe this to the residents of Cuyahoga County to be as honest and as open as possible. You happen to be the folks who can get that message out. That's why we've asked you to be here today. So we're not duking anything out. We believe that the courts will decide, as the KPMG report has demonstrated, that we've done nothing wrong. Hi?
Can we go with you first, please, in the
Oh.
back?
Tim Robinson, WTAM. To what extent do you believe that your reputation has been impacted by these allegations?
You know, Tim, only time, you're talking about MetroHealth reputation? I think MetroHealth reputation is strong. I think people who in this community who have used our services or know somebody who has used our services understand how critical we are, and we will overcome this.
We'll take one final question. Pardon me?
I said unless anyone else has one.
I was looking, sir, do you have one back?
No, I was fine.
Okay, pointing, yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Danny Cross in Cleveland 19 again. Obviously, we've been talking about a civil suit. To your knowledge, is there any criminal investigation into MetroHealth, into yourself? Because there were allegations in the civil suit that some of these things could constitute felony.
Yeah, Danny, there is absolutely, we have no knowledge of any criminal activities at MetroHealth or any investigation into criminal activities at MetroHealth.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Boutros. Please be sure to pick up your copies of the documents we are releasing. The KPMG report, MetroHealth's response to the lawsuit, Dr. Boutros's contract, and the expense report. Tina, who is standing right there at the door, has copies for you. And also the KPMG report and the response to the lawsuit are being posted on our website, www.metrohealth.org. Thank you very much.